Hi, and thank you for joining us today to talk about channel marketing strategy, measuring and analyzing channel marketing results. This is part of a series we have on channel marketing strategy. What we're going to do today is we're going to dive deep into analyzing results from 4 sample partners and talking about what we may learn from the numbers and where the numbers may mislead us for each of these examples. So let's jump into it. All right, partner number 1. This will be the first partner we're going to look at. The first 2 numbers this partner that we'll look at are marketing-oriented pipeline and marketing-oriented revenue. So in this example, the partner is generating 50 times the investment, so 50x that you invested in them in pipeline. So you gave them $1, they generated $50 in pipeline, and then in revenue, you gave them $1, they generated $10 in revenue back to you. At first glance, we look at this and say, wow, this is great. Let's invest as much as we can in this partner. They're generating revenue, they're generating pipeline. Let's keep going. Like with everything in marketing, a little knowledge is dangerous though, okay? So we want to dive a bit deeper into this number. The next thing we want to add on, that we think these first 2 metrics are very important, don't get me wrong. We want to keep these metrics. We always want to analyze them in channel marketing, but we want to add in total revenue growth of the partner, the total business that they're doing with you. And in this case, partner 1 actually declined their revenue with you by 15%. You might say, well, how is that possible? They're doing great at a channel marketing perspective, but they're declining in revenue. What could be the cause of that? There may be several things that we would want to dive into and find out if these could be the root causes. First, they may be losing customers after they sign up at an alarming rate, and they may need better support, post-sale support. That's certainly a possibility. A second possibility is that they're just really good at coding. So some partners are bad at coding and some partners are really good at it. They've got the systems down to ensure that everything they touch gets coded correctly into the system. So they might be really, really good at that. A third could be that they're actually marketing to their existing customers, which you would expect to have a very high rate. And if they were, for example, maybe they're taking customers to a ball game or to an event. They bring in the existing customers, the customer subsequently buys more product they were probably already going to buy, not that the event isn't useful, but that they were probably going to buy, and they get the revenue this way. That may actually then be a bad number. That may not be a great number for install-based marketing. That might be too low, whereas net new, it looks really high. Those are some possible scenarios. Now let's take a look at partner number 2. All right, partner 2. This partner is only generating 30 times pipeline, which isn't a bad number, but in comparison to this one at 50 is much lower. They're generating 5 times the revenue, much lower than this partner. So if we looked at just those 2, we might think to ourselves, you know what, let's invest all of our dollars with this partner and less or more here and less here. When we add in the total revenue growth, we see this partner is actually growing at 30%, where this one's declining at 15%. So we ask ourselves, how is that possible? If we're generating less closed business here, how is it possible we're generating more revenue? Well, let's dig deep and figure out what are the different scenarios that could cause that. First scenario might be that this particular customer is really bad at coding, meaning that their sales team is generating lots of pipeline and there's lots of revenue out there, but we're not necessarily coding it back to marketing activities. So that's one possible scenario. Another more likely scenario is that this particular partner is going after net new customers, which we would expect to have a lower marketing close rate. And in aggregate, it's working really well because they've been generating net new customers year over year. They're going back, they're expanding accounts. That feels great. A more negative way to interpret that could be that maybe there's a lot of channel shift. So if we're not generating the number through marketing, where's the revenue coming from? Well, in some cases, business can be moved from your direct team over to your channel team. And you're not increasing anything, you're just moving it from one channel to another. That might boost that number up there. So that's something we want to look at as well. Okay, now let's look at partner number 3. Partner 3, the numbers are the same as partner 2. Our revenue is lower, so we think in comparison of these 2, we want to invest more in partner 2 than partner 3. The growth rate is the same, right? So the growth rate's the same, so we've taken that out. The only thing that's different so far is the revenue, so let's invest more in partner 2. But then we go into the product mix, and many of us have multiple products and services with different margin amounts. Partner 3 is selling higher margin, in theory, higher value offerings than partner 2. And this 2 times margin at the same growth rate on the same sales is much more profit for you. So it would indicate that partner 3 of the 3 is actually the best one to invest in terms of where you're going to get the financial results from. So that's one of the other ways in which we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the numbers. Finally, let's take a look at partner 4. Partner 4 is one where all the numbers line up really nice. we've got decent pipeline at 40x, we've got good revenue at 10x, we've got a 30% growth rate, and we've got 2y margin, right? So 2x or 2y, two times what the standard partner is doing. So everything looks good. But where could we go wrong in this partner? Where could we misinterpret the results from this partner? Well, what if this entire number was coming from install-based marketing and this entire number was coming from channel shift? That's a scenario that I have seen exist, where you're going to get an install-based number here and a channel shift number here. Everyone thinks we're doing great, but in aggregate, we're not growing. You're not growing your business. Your partner's numbers look great. Your marketing numbers look great, but the numbers, when they roll up, end up having a bad scenario. Okay, so we've dove deep into a few partners here. There are 3 key takeaways that we want you to leave this video with. Number 1, make sure your team dives deep into the numbers. Don't get an incorrect conclusion by looking at simplistic numbers like pipeline and revenue. These are very important. We want to dive a lot deeper than just those 2 numbers, though. Number 2, we want to understand that marketing and channel marketing has a strong ability to impact the entire business, not just generate marketing-oriented revenue. We can do things from a marketing perspective to help grow revenue. As an example, maybe we're building great awareness in accounts that our sales team is already trying to progress. Maybe we're providing great materials that help enable the sales team to progress and close deals. Those are examples of things that we can do to help impact total revenue growth that may not necessarily tie revenue to a campaign. And then third and finally is we want to make sure we pay close attention to lifetime value of a customer. So in this scenario, if we're going after some net new customers, and let's say we're offering a cloud or a SaaS offering or something that needs to be regularly upgraded or added to, then that first customer may end up having a lot bigger value down the road than these numbers would even indicate on their own. We hope you enjoyed our session today on channel marketing strategy, measuring and analyzing results, and we look forward to talking to you in our next video. Thanks.